Do you remember the Slenderman Stabber?
No.
Essentially, these 2 young girls, I think they were, and Jamie might be able to pipe in here. I think they were like 12 or 13 at the time. They lured their friend out into the woods and they attempted to sacrifice her. And when they were later caught, they claimed they were doing so as a sacrifice to Slender Man, who is an internet horror lore icon. And the girl survived. The girl that they stabbed, she survived. The girls now are in their 20s, and one of the Slender Man stabbers escaped last week.
Whoa. This is, like, very involved, and I never even heard of this.
From my perspective, Slenderman was kind of like on the rise. And then there were things like Marble Hornets, the ARG, there was a video game, there was a movie. Slenderman was like, in my opinion, he was either becoming or he had like become very big. He'd become like a Michael Myers and like he
Yeah,
was
he
very
was he
creepy.
was basically destined to be the new spooky face of
He
horror.
Slender Man was everywhere for a little bit. And
Mhm.
then these girls claimed they tried to murder their friend and they claimed that they did it because Slender Man told them to do it. And from that, right around that time was also when Slender Man kind of dropped out of the public consciousness. Like
Mhm.
I stopped hearing about Slender Man, and then Marble Hornets kind of stopped. They kind of faded away,
Mhm.
and Slender Man has just started to make a comeback. But
Oh,
this
he's coming back now.
Slenderman is like made a yeah, he's like I've noticed some projects are starting to utilize Slenderman again because I do think it's been long enough that now I think it from my perspective, it seems like it's more okay to talk about Slenderman again. And I think people have largely forgotten about
Yeah.
this case. But this was a crazy case.
It's like either she's saying that just to, like, get out of being a murderer and like, "Oh, she's crazy, this let's just put her in a mental institution," or she really believes this. I feel like
I
she doesn't really believe it, and she just wanted to kill
Yeah.
somebody.
I mean, I do think that there is something too. Like these were young. I think that there probably was some sort of like psychosis involved, but I also do think that these girls were young, and I think if you're young and you're involved in a fandom, especially a fandom like I'm 99.9% sure that if these girls were involved in the fandom, they watch things like Marble Hornets.
Bet you
um
they watch Dab,
I mean, I think that they were in jail, so I don't I don't I didn't you see you're enjoying you're enjoying that pizza there.
vegan pizza for Black Friday, it's got black crust.
Oh, it's got that
Goth
nice
pizza, Kitty
char.
says.
Nice.
So I'll chime in a little bit to kind of fill in the extra parts. But from my understanding, Slenderman was already kind of dying down by the time the stabbings happened because he hit his peak in 2012. And there was a game and a couple of movie attempts around there that
Yeah.
didn't hit the same levels of success in 2013 because the fad had kind of ended and Slenderman had more become a meme afterwards because there was a lot of jokes, a lot of things going on in that area. And these two girls that suddenly got a hold of Slenderman did not get a hold of it from Marble Hornets, from my understanding, or Everyman Hybrid. They got it from the creepypasta forums because Slenderman had suddenly embodied himself in the creepypasta world. And so they actually learned Slenderman from a bunch of cameos and fan fictions where people got all the creepypasta monsters together to date each other. In fact, what they actually believed was that Slenderman lived in a Slenderman mansion where he lived with all of the other creepypasta monsters and essentially kind of dated each other. So they didn't actually get
Makes
Slenderman
it
from the
worse.
original stuff.
This makes it worse. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, it's like this so basically they were at this was ARG unfiction horror Love Island or F Boy Island, And but then these girls got a hold of this stuff, and then they were like, you know what we need to do?
I think it was Wattpad or whatever it is, basically a place where people would write their fan fictions. Because they specifically talk about Slenderman Mansion, and I remember doing a deep dive into this because I was going to eventually make a somewhat video on it, and that's what I found, because I even messaged the creepypasta, the owners of the wiki, and they managed to trace the origins of the mansion to these Wattpad stories, so they clearly could not have got it from Marble Hornets or any of the other people. In fact, the other sad part about this story is that her dad, the main person that orchestrated this whole thing, I believe actually suffered
Morgan,
from
I think is the main
Morgan
the main person.
I believe he suffered from a very strong case of it was either schizophrenia or something very similar. And he didn't. One thing I think he said he regretted was not telling his daughter about it, and allowed her to kind of be invested, because they never really checked on her, and she got too wound up on the internet and found this area, and then obviously brought one of her friends into this field, and they just this is kind of the perfect example.
So it was her friend that she stabbed?
It was her friend that she stabbed. Two people.
So it was Morgan and her friend, and then Morgan convinced her other friend that they needed to do this sacrifice for Slenderman.
Yeah.
And they wound each other up. And then they brought their other friend over under the guise of like, hey, do you want to come hang out with us? Do you want to come? And they brought her out into the woods to like, they were gonna go, like, they're kids. They're gonna like go out into the woods and play. And when they brought the friend out there, they just started stabbing her because they were like, we need to sacrifice her to Slender. And the girl
How
survived.
old were they?
Yeah.
Oh, she did survive.
I believe she was I believe they were 14 or something along those lines.
13, 14.
And
the girl's alive
the girl was stabbed something like 17 times, and she was left to die, but she crawled out of the woods onto the side of a road where someone found her, and then obviously called an ambulance, and she did survive.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm surprised you've never heard. I'm surprised you've never heard about any of this.
I'm shocked I haven't.
Yeah.
And then that girl who orchestrated and did the stabbing got sent to like the mental institution, and then she escaped.
She cut off her. So we can get into that part of the story.
Let's watch this now.
Basically, there was this big like people didn't know where she was. They were like, she's gone. And like, this is yes, she was young when she did this, but she was an attempted murderer, with clearly unstable, at least at some point in their life. And they were gone. They cut off their ankle monitor, which keeps them in their wherever they are, like it keeps their location. They cut off their ankle monitor and escaped their group home that they had been living in as a resident. And a group home is like, if you are released from jail or released from a psychiatric facility, usually there's a transitional period where they'll take you from one place to a group home, to like reacclimate to society. And I think that's kind of like the in between place. So she was in this group home where she wasn't supposed to leave it. And she was wearing an ankle monitor, and she cut the ankle monitor off and escaped, and nobody knew where she was. She was taken into custody, and we'll watch that video of it because the video is
this story is like a roller coaster.
They're definitely going to make this is definitely going to be like an HBO documentary or something at some point. But she was taken into custody in Posen, Illinois, with a 43, and this girl is 23 now, which is like, I was like, that is unusual. With a 43-year-old person she had traveled across state lines with, Chad Mecca, according to the Posen Police Department, released on Monday. Police found the pair sleeping on a sidewalk. So the girl's name is Morgan Geyser, had escaped and met up with Chad Mecca, and they had initially, when they were initially stopped by law enforcement, they gave false names, and eventually she just said, you could just Google her name. She gave her name and just said, just Google me. She wouldn't give like what she actually was known for, but that, and we can watch that video footage. I'm sure that there's body cam footage, but essentially she was like, you can just Google me.
She seemed very nervous. She simply told the officer, here's my real name. You can Google me. And you'll find out who I am.
Police say Geyser cut off her ankle monitoring bracelet on Saturday before fleeing on a bus with a 42-year-old friend she met at church. Officers tracking them to a truck stop about 165 miles away near Chicago, where they were sleeping on the ground.
I don't want to give you my name.
At first,
It's really
refusing to
sad.
give her real name.
I did something really wrong.
Morgan Geyser was
Okay,
convicted with her
so they
friend
just
Anissa
got they were just like talked to by the police because they were sleeping outside.
Yeah, and
What a dumb thing. Why don't you just like she could have actually gotten away, it seems.
well, she wouldn't give her real name, and neither would the person that she was with. So that
Just give
arose
a fake name
suspicion.
and don't show ID, and
I
you'd
mean,
be
I think that
fine.
I mean, that's easier said than it's easier said. Police can, if they have suspicion of something, they can like take you. They can like take you
Yeah, I
in.
guess they could get her fingerprints and then find out who she is.
Right. So it's like she wouldn't give. I think she was being cagey, but like obviously, like she had escaped from the group home, and I assume if she's in a group home, she's probably on parole.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a group home wearing an ankle monitor, you're not supposed to leave the premises. Like she's not allowed to leave.
It's just
So
dumb of them to sleep outside. Like, what were they doing? If
I mean, she probably. I mean, I assume they.
sleep in the car?
I mean,
Weren't they in a
they
car?
no, they took a bus.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, they have
I
bad game plan.
I think that they didn't really have a plan, and I think that this is somebody. I think neither of them clearly had any money if they weren't
Mm-mm.
staying at like a hotel. It's a very sad situation all the way around, and I think that Morgan seems like, without knowing like the ins and outs of her situation, she does seem like a very deeply troubled person, and
Yeah.
I hope that she eventually gets. That I think that she's I
Yeah,
do think
she's how
it's
she, if this was 10 years ago then if she's like 23 now.
she's 23. I think that she's somebody who seems as if she needs more constant supervision.
Yeah, there could be hope for her in her life if she really does get help. I mean, she might always have a very unique life under supervision, but it could be better if they try
I
to help her because she talks normally. I don't know. You never really, you can't
well,
judge
but like
someone's mental
but I mean
state just
Ted
by listening
Bundy
to them.
talked normally.
Yeah, he was really charismatic. True. Yeah,
Right.
you
And
never know, I
I think
guess.
that that's very important to remember is that like yeah, this girl
Yeah.
seems like harmless. And I think that that's the scary thing about it is that yes, this girl seems
Yeah, she's
harmless.
not your typical like murderer,
I mean,
She's like a
but then
23-year-old
like
girl who looks like she works at Hot Topic.
right, but then like you hear about what she did and like she did stab not only like stabbed, but like as her friend was like
That's attempted
dying and
murder.
crawling away, like continued to stab her friend 19 times to try to sacrifice them to a fictional character.
Yeah.
So this is a very dangerous individual. So
Yeah.
very sad all the way around.
I want to also add as well that depending on what exactly they claimed they did on that night, it's also up for debate if it was even Slenderman they did it for. Because when they were asked about her before she obviously got sentenced and things, this was another fact I forgot to throw in. She actually also claimed to be speaking with someone from Star Trek and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So the
Oh my God,
idea
okay.
that it was all Slenderman was more, I think, picked up by the news than the actual story itself. So I think they were very deeply embedded in a lot of issues that had
So
a lot
our
of unchecked
thumbnail and
mental health.
title, we're clickbaiting right now, is what you're saying.
Clickbait. Well,
Well,
no, I think
also-
I think they still claimed they did the big plea of Slenderman thing in, but I think the news definitely
Okay.
hypened it up a lot more.
Yeah,
But
it gets
also,
more
as to
clicks.
what you were saying previously, you were saying that her father had schizophrenia. So I think it's very possible that, like, people that have schizophrenia often suffer from delusions, and they don't know what's real and what's not. So it's like I do think if something like that, and often these things are hereditary. So I think it's also possible that like if what and I can't speak to it, but like if her father also had schizophrenia, it's very possible that she's schizophrenic.
Yeah. Yeah, something's wrong. If you can bring yourself to stab someone that you're friends with, then there's definitely something going on. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize it was so involved. Story.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so
I
much
mean,
to it.
I think even at some point, like we could even talk about that Slenderman, the original Slenderman case,
Mm.
and like Slenderman itself, because I
Yeah,
like
have there been other crimes committed in the for the honor of Slender Man or whatever, however you want to phrase it, for
No,
the
but I think that it's this
sacrifice.
I think it's the same sort of thing as like somebody saying, "I'm sacrificing this person for the devil," or
Yeah, you
whatever.
just say the thing because it's just an
They're just
excuse to do it.
but I think if you're somebody who has like a actual disorder, like if you're somebody who's schizophrenic, you might actually believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're choosing what you're believing though, is the thing, because like you're drawn to Slender Man or
Well, no,
whatever.
no, no. Like if somebody's schizophrenic, they can't choose what they believe
Well,
whatever they're going to
their
believe.
brain picks whatever that's come through their life experience, and then what it jumps on what it wants.
Right. And I do think that it's definitely possible that she could have believed that she was actually sacrificing something for this character.
Yeah.
But still scary nonetheless. But she is back in custody and I'm quite certain this is a violation of her parole.
Mhm.
I hope she gets the help that she needs, but it sounds like she is probably requiring a lot more supervision, but
Yeah.
pretty crazy.